Hello, ladies. Hello. I'm so excited to share today's session. I think this is quite a interesting topic, but also something that we really need to address as women. And I know it doesn't pertain to everybody, but I think there's a lot of us women here who have the body issues that have maybe not the best relationship with our bodies, with ourselves. And so I wanted to talk to you about today's topic, which is how to fall in love with your body, and February being the theme of love. How can we fall in love with our body? That also includes all the lumps, bumps, and rolls. So this is like a real body image self-love session. So if you haven't met me before, my name's Melissa Wilkes, and I have been a nutrition and mindset coach for 10 years. I love what I do, and I love being able to inspire and support women in not just food and mindset, but also our relationship with our body, our relationship with ourselves, how we view different body parts, and how so much of our birth is connected to our body image. So let's talk about the stuff that a lot of us don't actually share. It feels real, it feels raw, it feels personable, and I'm sure it feels very vulnerable. I think we've got to that point, especially as we get older, where we can stop the pretend and making out like everything's fine and we're feeling really great, and start addressing some of our insecurities and our relationship with our body. When I first started coaching women, the first couple of years, I was writing out eating plans. I was helping and supporting women, and I would actually attract a lot of women that did bodybuilding or body sculpt or bikini contests, which is great. At that time, I was a new coach. I'd only just got my nutrition qualifications and was just excited to work with anybody. What I realized within the first couple of years is there's so much connected to body image and food, right? A lot of these women had amazing bodies. And I guess what your definition of amazing body is and my definition might be different. However, their bodies were and there was quite a lot of muscle definition, very low body fat count. I can assure you that majority of those women that I either worked with or I was around, because I would go to comps and stuff like that as well, was not that healthy. In fact, I would say toxic relationship with their body, to the point of a lot of punishment kind of behavior and thoughts, if that makes sense. And the relationship with food as well, the level of restriction connected to the body image. And I get it. Some people want to be really disciplined and some people want to be told what to eat. And I get that. And we're all different, we're all unique. But what I realized is sometimes in the pursuit of having this certain body, that you can lose sight of the connection with your body, how your body feels, what it feels like to nurture yourself with food. We can get very disconnected and even dissociate from the body when these patterns can be quite negative over a period of time snowballs or becomes locked in habits and ways of thinking and set behavior patterns. What I want to talk about is, let's address what's been modeled to us, for starters, so we can see the origin of where this comes from, why body image issues do run so deep, especially with women, and how some of the logical tools alone aren't enough for us to change our way of thinking. And for me, I left that industry because I realized that it was really affecting counting macros and calories and weighing food. It wasn't in alignment with what I wanted for myself, let alone for others. And maybe it works for you and that's totally fine. But for me, I could see that food was really becoming numbers, and then the relationship with the body was really changing. It turned into a battle and a fight, right? I also want to talk about how we can rewire our brain so we can stop some of the self criticism. It could be the way you talk about yourself, and just work on building a better relationship with our body and meet our needs emotionally, mentally, and physically as well, and what steps we can do. I also want to share a free mirror work guide for you if you watch to the end and just comment below and let me know that you want a copy. And that tool is really going to help you as well. So the first thing I want to cover is, what did we learn as children? I've got a piece of hair on my head. It's annoying me. What did we learn as children? What was modeled to us? We are not born hating our bodies. We are not born with a issue with our body image. So I want you to think back to when you were a little girl, running around playing, eating whatever you wanted, not obsessing over your stomach or your legs, or if there was any kind of body rolls or anything like that. So where did the body shame come from? And majority of it actually starts when we're children. So have a look and a think about that. And if you've got a pen and paper, I'd love you to jot that down, or please comment and let me know, because I love hearing people's journeys about your struggles or challenges or what was modeled to you as a child. The way that our female relationships, so mostly from the mother, but also from the mother or from an aunt or from other women, the way they talk about their bodies and their shapes, how we see ourselves, that's all affected. How they talk about themselves. Maybe you grew up hearing, I need to lose weight, or I can't eat that, or I'll get fat. I know I did. Or things even, I looked so much better before I had kids, or before I had you guys. And we start to learn from that age that a woman's worth is connected to her body and the size of her body. I can go right back to my own childhood and really see what happened to me in my childhood and the experiences that I had. My body shame experience started quite early. I really clearly remember certain conversations or comments that my mother made. She had her own struggles. She had a lot of insecurities because of her own childhood and also what happened to her when she was a young adult. She would actually insinuate things to me, like that I was bigger than her. If we ever got in a fight when I was a really young teenager, she would actually call me fat. And those words are really hurtful and they stuck. I think when I was younger, I didn't realize what her comments meant to me. But by the time I was a teenager, I really knew and understood that she felt that I was fat. So I thought, if she thinks I'm fat, I must be. And then by the time I got into high school, I was actually getting teased. One of the biggest things I got teased for was, it's a bit of a funny one and weird, was I had a football body and I had football legs. So I was always told, you've got the broad shoulders, you've got the big barrel footy body, and you've got the footy legs. And I would walk past and people would say, oh, there goes footy legs. It's so weird. It's such a weird thing. Primary school, I got told I had a ski nose and a few other things about my nose. But it's interesting how this really started to shape and change my view on myself. And I started to I remember loathing my body. If people were going to make those comments, I really felt icky about my body, about my experience with my body, the way I perceived my body to look. So it didn't matter what I saw in the mirror. Realistically, what I saw in the mirror was a footy body with footy legs. It sounds crazy, right? I have another really strong memory is the first time I was allowed to catch the bus straight from school to the shops, and we went to Whitford Shopping Centre in Perth, WA, for those wherever you are. And I was so excited. And this whole bunch of girls, and we were in our school uniforms and we had our backpacks on, and all the girls walked straight into Woolworths. They'd been saving up money and started picking out diet pills from Woolworths. And I felt like I had to do the same. I was 14 and I felt pressured and that I needed to join in. The thing is, those messages, they don't disappear. Actually, they start to become a story for us and a voice in our head. And we grow into women that start to avoid the mirrors, call ourselves horrible names, compare our bodies to others, connect our body image to our worth, right? This grows and grows. And the more you do it, the better you get at it, right? Even if it's negative, the better you get at it. I started to learn a logical way of changing my beliefs about myself and my body. But here's the thing, the logical tools don't work alone. You can logically know something, it doesn't mean you believe it or you practice it or you embody it. When we talk about things like self-love and giving ourselves self-love, we know that's what we should do. It doesn't mean that we're going to do it. We can even say that we love ourselves. It doesn't mean we truly do, just because we say it, because it might not be something that we actually really feel and experience within ourselves. You can understand that your body changes and still feel really uncomfortable in it. You can know that the expectations on us, the beauty standards on us are unrealistic, and still you feel like you don't measure up. You can read all about self-help. I've done so much of this, and still pick apart your reflection whenever you look in the mirror. Why? Because our body image isn't just all up here, that logical kind of way of thinking. It's deeply wired. It can be a real emotional experience for ourselves, as well as a physical experience if it is connected to some trauma or some wounding from our childhood. If you've spent years avoiding mirrors, covering up your body, I hear a lot from clients where they still don't stand naked in front of their partner, their husband, or maybe the wife. They don't want to stand naked in front of their partner. They feel uncomfortable getting intimate with their partner and showing their bare skin and their body. This is really real, and this is where it's deeply wired. So we could sit here and chat about it. It doesn't mean it always is going to change, because our brain is it's conditioned to, over time we've conditioned it to do this way of thinking automatically. Like any habit, we need to rewire our brain to respond differently. We need to rewire our brain to think of things when it comes to our body image in a different way. Things that we can do to do that, and these are some really great tips. These are some of the things I teach my clients. I don't have time to teach you everything, but I think they'll be really powerful. First thing is, stop avoiding the mirrors and start rewriting your inner dialogue, the way you speak to yourself. So if you've spent years avoiding your reflection, start with just small little exposures to your mirror. So what I personally did was move to my mirror. So I had a full body mirror and I had to walk past it, and I would just like really quickly look. And then over time and each week, I'd start looking for longer, and I'd start really encouraging myself to stand in front of the mirror. I really noticed and checked in and created a lot of self-awareness about the way I spoke to myself. So instead of thinking, oh my gosh, you look horrible. Oh my gosh, look at those legs, I would be a little bit more neutral, because I didn't feel comfortable making up stuff like the affirmations and the positive mindset. Yeah, that's all great. But sometimes, like, in our mind, we're like, bullshit, whatever, that's crap, that's not true. So it's very hard to rewire the brain if we're really against that belief. So it could be that you just do it as a more of a neutral way of thinking. So it could be, I'm trying to think of some on the spot. This is my body today, or my body is here for me. My body's showing up for me today, or I am more. What I am is more inside in here, is more than just what I see, or is more than what I see. Yeah. And then over time, we can start to build up on those positive affirmations and the way that we speak to ourselves. You might find speaking in positive affirmations straight away works for you. For me, it didn't, because there was so much trauma and wounding that was connected to it. I had to do more of those neutral statements and then build it into the positive affirmations, because it helped me to stop that resistance to hearing it, because it didn't sound unrealistic or fake. And I have a bit of a thing about fakeness, or telling myself too much that's not true at all. So this is how we rewire our brain. We start to look at how we can just change the way we speak to our body in our daily life. So when we are body checking in our reflections and in the store window or in photos, I see people that zoom in on all parts. I've got family members and friends, and I see them like zoom in on parts of their body and have a really good look. When you catch yourself doing that, start looking at ways that you can literally stop, but also when you can go, hey, is this really a productive thing to do? Is this helpful? Is this going to really help me with my body image? I can just let this go. So just start trying to break some of those behaviors slowly and gently over time. Also, things like, instead of saying to yourself, and I hear this a lot with clients, I feel really fat today, start saying, oh, I feel a bit bloated, or maybe those foods I ate the day before didn't agree with me, or these clothes are really tight and maybe I need to look at if these clothes make me feel good, or do I need to alter what I'm wearing or change what I'm wearing so I can feel good in my body, rather than telling myself I feel fat and or gross or something like that. And also reminding yourself it's okay. We want to really replace the I need to fix my body with my body supports me and I will support my body. Do the small physical ways of self acceptance as well. Choose to wear clothes that feel good now, not that are for your goal outfits. Or, for instance, I speak to women who have clothes in their wardrobe they haven't been able to fit into for 5 to 10 years, but they keep them in there. And every time they look at those clothes, they feel like not good enough, or they feel really down on themselves. Maybe it's time for those clothes to go, or maybe it's time that they get moved out of your wardrobe and get put somewhere else. Maybe pack them away. And if you're still not wearing them a year later, sell them or give them away. It's time to let them go. Um, Start taking photos of yourself. That can be really powerful. So doing the selfies and seeing what you look like and looking in and not trying to hide from the camera. This wouldn't work for you if you're already good at doing selfies. This is more if you're one for avoiding it. And I definitely did this. I would take the photo of my husband and the kids, and there would be no photos of me. And I got to the point where, I guess, over the last 10 years, having to take photos of myself in my business has made me. And I remember many years ago, I was running a retreat and I put a photo of myself in the workbook for the retreat. And I remember thinking, yuck, oh, should I do that? Now, like, I just do stuff like that all the time. And but when I was first doing this, it's the small things, the small acts, the small changes, the small opportunities of self-acceptance over time that starts to do a lot of the rewiring of the brain. Wear clothes that fit now, that make you feel good. That's really important. Another thing is to practice self-touch. So touching your arms, touching your legs, touching your stomach, talk to yourself, connect with your body, do it in a kind way. That's really powerful. Things like hugging the self, rubbing your legs, touching your tummy, just looking at it, getting used to it and seeing it instead of avoiding it can be really big. One of the greatest tools you can do, and again, I'm happy to create because I haven't got one yet, but I'm happy to create. Unless I've got one for my clients, I'll have a look. A template for you, but look at writing a letter to your body. Apologize to all the years of criticism and negative self-talk, and look at how you can say thank you to your body for everything it's done for you. Really write yourself a love letter to your body. It's so powerful. Look at what social media accounts that are making you feel bad and unfollow them. I think that's really important. Start following ones that are very body empowerment. Another really powerful tool, and I'm really mindful of time here, another powerful tool is name your inner critic. So when those negative thoughts come up, discuss that with your inner critic. So one of my clients calls her inner critic Negative Nancy, which I just love. And so she says, Negative Nancy, I don't need to listen to you. Go away. You're not welcome today. Look at daily gratitude for your body. It could be the small things like, I love my hands, even though they're looking older and wrinklier. I love them because I get to touch with them. To have that daily gratitude for yourself and look at how you can compliment yourself. Something I did to get around my rolly tummy was to say, like, I've had 3 kids and my tummy supported them. Just look at ways that you can find gratitude in how your body shows up for you on a daily basis. Look at how you can move your body in a way that feels really good and it doesn't feel like punishment. Really connecting to your body when you go for a walk, when you stretch your body in the mornings, when you dance in the kitchen in the afternoons, when you're cooking dinner. And just look at how you can celebrate your body. Does it need some moisturizing each night? And will that help you connect with your body? Having beautiful baths and seeing your body while you're having a bath. Your body's not actually the problem. It's the way you think about your body. It's the wounding you may have experienced when you were younger, and it's what you've been taught for a long time. We can rewire our brain. We can stop that negative thought patterns and the way we treat ourselves. And it's not going to be an overnight thing, but it does happen when we consistently work on it and we make it part of our daily routines and rituals that we do for ourselves. If you would like to go deeper, I highly suggest you do some mirror work. It is such a profound way of exploring and understanding the body. I've got a mirror work guide. I'm happy to share that with you if you would like to have a copy of that. And it just explains how to do that. And I'd really love to hear what your relationship is with your body and what's one thing that you appreciate about your body right now. What is one thing that you appreciate about your body? Let's do this. Let's build that connection and confidence with our body, no matter how it looks. And know that it's totally okay if you don't love all parts of it. I don't love all parts of my body, but we don't need to shame it. We don't need to think negatively of it. We don't need to be hard on ourselves. We can do this in a kind of gentle way. I hope this has helped. Love to hear from you.